a training is basically to get everybody who works with the child using those same words or using the device in the same way, or understanding how to interpret the eye gaze or whatever it is. And I like for parents to be involved in the training when possible. I always request, when you train the school staff, may I attend on Zoom or in person? Sometimes schools are like, no, and other times schools are, well, we'd love to have you. That's the best way to get everybody on the same page. And then the other thing is I like to get the training in the IEP. And a lot of times I'll see the training in the IEP is like, 30 minutes a year for training or 60 minutes a year, whatever it is. I actually like to see the words that talk about at the beginning of the school year and anytime someone new starts to work with the child. The reason is if you train, for example, an aide in August or September, and then the child has a new aide in December, they're not trained. They don't know how to use it. So I like to have and anytime someone new starts to work with the child. The training is super important, especially for communication systems and behavior. The other kind of training that comes to mind really quickly is around health. If you have a child that has a trach or a G-tube or has they need the magnet system for seizures or diastatic, whatever it is. And that training is going to be a little bit different. That training is going to be informed by a doctor's order, and then the school nurse will be involved, and the parent absolutely should be involved in that training. That is not an area that I would sort of budge on, because it's super important that everybody is, following whatever protocol is needed for the health and safety. If the training is going to be provided by a provider on your IEP, so that might be if we're talking about a behavior plan, that might be a BCBA, which is called the BID, or the intensive individual services, whatever district you're in. Typically, you're going to want to have right on that service grid. So where it says, for example, speech, 30 minutes twice a week, right? You're going to want to add a training block that will say 60 minutes, consult yearly, indirect, those kinds of words. Indirect means not direct to your child, but instead they're working with the staff. That's what that indirect means. And you can get it right on the service grid. If they won't do that, at least get it documented in the notes. But because if it's in the IEP, it's in the IEP. This is something I've come across lately a couple of times where something has been in the IEP in writing where it specifically says something very clearly. And then the school goes, but it wasn't on the service grid, so we don't have to do it, which is, by the way, incorrect. If it's in the IEP, it's in the IEP. But if you can get it in the service grid, you might avoid that hassle.